camera, and then if we put it back into park, we see the front camera.
That looks pretty good to me.
I think so. We can also double tap the defrost mirrors. And there it is.
I wonder if that's going to be a good enough angle for it. Let me take a picture of that and make sure he's happy with it.
Yeah, we can.
This is a front park assist camera that we added to a 2022 Subaru Legacy. Seems pretty straightforward, right? Well, it wasn't exactly. Months ago, I had this client come to us inquiring about adding front park sensors to their vehicle. And we do front park sensors all the time, not a big deal. However, in this particular vehicle, I noticed that the car did not come up in Rostra's application guide. Rostra is what we normally use to do front park sensors in vehicles. It does talk to the CAN bus system in order to know how fast the vehicle is going, because you don't want these sensors working while you're actually driving down the road. You just want them at lower speeds, typically under 10 miles per hour. So you want to have a way to monitor the speed in the car. Since I didn't see it pop up on the Rostra guide, I assumed I'm going to have to do something that's GPS based to know the speed. Ran into this years ago with a Mercedes, and in that particular car, it was using high-speed CAN bus to communicate speed information. So in that car, we used the Rydeen kit that uses GPS to calculate vehicle speed, and it worked out great. So I said, you know what? I don't see it in the Rostra guide. Let's put the Rydeen sensor in here. We'll use GPS to detect speed. Should be no problem. After getting the sensors painted, wired up, tested, everything worked great in our lot. All seemed great, except it wasn't. Shortly after the client picked up, I got a text message letting me know that the sensors didn't seem to be working right. They were going off while he was going, 40, 50 miles an hour on the highway. I said, well, that isn't right. We're using GPS to detect speed. So we got the car back in here and we tried a few different things. We tried relocating the GPS antenna. We even tried replacing the GPS antenna. We tried relocating the brain. We were assuming something is causing some type of interference where this thing is not calculating the speed properly. Nothing we tried worked. So I said, you know what? Let's try the Rostra sensors. Let's see how they work. And they actually worked pretty well initially for like a week or so. And then we started to get interference. Talked to Rostra. They said, you know what? Try to get the CAN information at another location in the car. Tried that. Still was falsing. And they said, this might sound crazy, but not only try to relocate the brain, but wrap it in plastic and Reynolds wrap. Yes, the old Reynolds wrap Faraday cage. Even that didn't work. Very frustrating. So the client said, what about a front camera? What about a front camera? Let's see if I can find somebody who makes an interface to add a front camera to this car. And I thought I found one from Brian at Auto Harness House, except there was a problem. This T-harness worked only when you were in the special menu in the Subaru stereo where you could actually adjust the picture quality of the factory backup camera.
Temp up and temp down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Dealership mode. Camera setting.
That was the only place we could get that switch to work, was in this menu.
Right.
We had no way of overriding that screen when we were in any other situation, whether we were, in drive or reverse. We could only get that switch to operate when we're in this secret menu. So it was like, all right, back to the drawing board. And I thought about it and I said, you know what? If anybody can make something for this car, it's gonna be Naviks. These guys came out to our shop maybe about a year ago and created an HDMI interface for a brand new GMC Sierra that didn't exist at the time. They literally came to the shop, they got their laptops open, they connected into the car, and they figured out how to code their interfaces to talk to the stereo to create the input that we needed. So I said, if anybody can do it, it's these guys. So I reached out to them and they were confident they could figure it out after they looked over the pictures and video of the radio that I had sent them, and we scheduled it up. The engineer drove out to our shop and no joke, he sat in that car for 8 hours straight, not even a bathroom break, and he just typed away at his laptop like crazy. And at the end of the day, he had figured it out. He figured out how this stack stereo was working. It had some sort of funky rolling code, but whatever it was, he managed to create software to talk to it with his interface module and really trick the way this front camera is activated. He programmed it so you press the mirror defrost button 2 times. I think that's pretty cool. You think that's pretty cool? I think that's pretty cool.
How cool is that?
So anyways, there's a roundabout, weird way that this interface was created, and super happy that we were able to figure out some sort of solution. I am looking forward to the day when somebody comes out with park sensors that do communicate with high-speed CAN and are less prone to interference from other electronic modules in vehicles. We've had to do that in GMs as well, relocate the module. But for whatever reason, there was something going on in the front end of this car that was just creating false alerts on these park sensors, both with Rostra and Rydeen. If you guys have any tips, if you've run into that yourself, please let me know in the comments below. I would love to get your feedback on that. Anything I can do to get that working for that client, I'd be really happy. If you're interested in adding a front camera to your vehicle, please call or text the shop. And as always, thank you so much for watching, guys. I appreciate it. If you enjoy this content, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time.
So that's the factory reverse camera, and then I'm going to go to drive, and that's the front camera, and it's going to stay on for like 7 seconds. If you want to force activate that front camera on the fly, double tap this defrost button. How cool is that?